Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today we're going to continue the series, What Foods to Eat and What Foods Not to Eat, by looking at Japanese cuisine. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, Naturopathic Earth. It has 600 recipes and articles that might help you. Check out my podcast, The Awakened Man, my books, and if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. All right, I'm going to put a banner for the playlist. I think this is episode 6 or 7. Japanese food. I would tell you as a whole, I don't eat a lot of Japanese food simply because I don't feel that it fills me up. That being said, I have a very close Japanese friend. She was born in Japan. We went to college together. I've been to Japan. That's one of the great tips of always having international students as your friends, because you'll get free lodging if you ever go to their country. And I remember going to Japan, I mean, this dates me, 1995. It was New Year's, 1995 to 96. And I remember going to a meal at her family's house, like all the extended family was there. And I think she remembered telling me that like Christmas is the party day in Japan and New Year's is very solemn. So we went to this meal and I just remember thinking everything in there looked so disgusting. It was just a lot of like, for what I remember 27 years ago, 27 years later, how it was just a lot of like cold, raw, fully intact fish and a lot of just cold seafood. And that's what I remember. So I'm not gonna come off as like some Japanese food expert. That being said, there are definitely some do's in the Japanese cuisine. And I think we're on a run now where we've been doing a lot of cuisines that are actually quite healthy. If you look at Middle Eastern food, you can look at Indian food, you can look at Thai food as a whole, and certainly compared to the horrific American cuisine, you can't go wrong. Now, Japanese food, I would say the same thing. So what are some things that you can eat? First of all, the Japanese have a lot of probiotic foods. They have a lot of fermented foods. I think probably the most famous of this would be miso. Miso is a probiotic soup kind of dish, so it's very good for you. Natto is fermented soybeans. So in terms of looking for your gut health, and we have a couple videos on the importance of your microbiome, these are two great things. Across the Sea of Japan, of course, Korea has kimchi, which is fermented sauerkraut. We're probably not going to do an episode on Korean cuisine, but who knows, maybe in 2 years we might have to be on episode 43 and do every cuisine of the world. But these are really good for you, really important. I'm not a big fan of soybean in general because soybean is genetically modified in America and the large majority of soybean is crap. But in this case, I would tell you that it's okay to have natto. What else? I mean, the mainstay of what we think of Japanese food is going to be sushi, it's going to be sashimi, rolls, fresh fish, and all these things you really can't go wrong. You really cannot go wrong with eating sashimi and the raw fish. Just great sources of omega-3 fatty acids, and you're getting a good amount of the healthy fats and healthy protein, and you eat a lot of seaweed as well. And there's a reason why the Japanese, especially in Okinawa, in that area, have the longest life expectancy, or at least they used to, because their cuisine is a lot of seafood and a lot of seaweed and just a lot of healthy foods. So you really can't go wrong with sashimi. Now, in America, we do sushi rolls. We put mayonnaise, avocado, which is great, cream cheeses. You know, we Americanize it, imitation crab. So that can kind of not make it as healthy. So if you're eating sushi rolls, try to do it with like Japanese sushi. But as a whole, if you compare a sushi roll, even one that has the aforementioned on it, it's certainly going to be healthier than eating a triple cheese bacon cheeseburger. You know. What else? Edamame is pretty popular in Japanese cuisine. I don't like the taste of edamame, and edamame is soy-based, but as a whole, if you're eating this, it's not necessarily going to be a problem. You got sukiyaki. Sukiyaki is like a hot pot, a Japanese hot pot. It's typically eaten in the winter. It's essentially like a stew, so to speak. Like most stews, it's not a problem. A lot of vegetables and some protein. You got odin. Odin's a broth, pretty healthy as well. Gyoza is their form of dumplings. And like you'll get the dumplings here if you go to the supermarket or to a typical Japanese restaurant. And again, you know, you don't want to be eating a lot of dumplings all the time. There's certainly healthier choices, but eating Japanese dumplings is certainly going to be better than eating, French fries every day. Then you get konnyaku. Konnyaku is a kind of strange, weird vegetable that they have over there. They perceive it to be a superfood, and it's got 0 calories. So, konnyaku you're probably not going to be eating when you go to a Japanese restaurant. So when you go to a Japanese restaurant, you're typically going to be doing what? Starting out with a soup, like a miso soup, and then maybe you're getting some sashimi, some rolls. And then you do have some unhealthy things, like you think of all the fried stuff that you can eat over there. That can be potentially problematic. But as a whole, Japanese food is great. It's great for your diet. And if you're trying to lose weight or maintain your weight, having a love for Japanese food can only help this journey. Whereas if you have a love of American cuisine and barbecue or stuff like that, probably isn't as helpful. But luckily for me, I like a lot of Asian food. So I like the kind of Middle Eastern, Persian food. I like Indian food. I like Thai food. And so these kind of roll in really well. And Japanese food, again, you have like some of the condiments, as we would call them, that overall are pretty good. You don't want to be dousing everything in soy sauce, but overall those are pretty good. The desserts are pretty light. And so overall, I would definitely give a thumbs up for Japanese cuisine. Guys, post in the comments. Let me know what other Japanese foods you like or you don't like. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.